If you're over 60, your choice of cheese makes all the difference between reinforcing your health or silently increasing the risk of serious problems. Over 85% of adults above 60 continue to eat cheese at least twice a week, yet almost all make a mistake that can shave years off their life expectancy. Nearly 99% of seniors don't know that certain cheeses can double the risk of heart attack and cut by 40% the chance of reaching 80 with a good quality of life. Fortunately, the solution is simple and accessible to anyone who can read labels and make smart supermarket choices. We begin with the 4 cheeses you should eat daily to protect your heart, bones, and vascular system. Taking first place on the health podium is Gouda, aged for at least 18 months because during that time the protein chains break down into smaller peptides that the body absorbs much more easily. Moreover, the aging process produces high levels of vitamin K2, which acts like a traffic director for calcium, preventing its deposition in the arteries and guiding it into bones where it strengthens the skeletal structure. Research in Japan found that those consuming higher amounts of vitamin K2 had up to 50% less vascular calcification and significantly stronger bones. A 30-gram piece of aged Gouda delivers your full week's requirement of K2. Next is genuine Parmigiano Reggiano from Italy, made by ancestral methods dating back nearly 900 years. This cheese is practically a multivitamin, rich in bioavailable calcium, zinc, phosphorus, and riboflavin, which help form collagen to keep joints flexible and cartilage healthy. During its production, beneficial bacteria also generate postbiotics that feed the gut microbiota, reduce inflammation, and may improve mood via the gut-brain axis. To maximize its nutrients, serve Parmigiano at room temperature with pear slices or whole grain crackers. In third place is fresh goat cheese, naturally low in lactose and high in medium-chain fatty acids that raise good cholesterol and lower bad cholesterol. It supplies calcium in a highly absorbable form that regulates muscle tone and enhances bone density, minimizing fracture risk. Eating 100 grams of goat cheese in salads or homemade spreads helps prolong satiety and preserve lean mass. The 4th dairy superfood on our list is cottage cheese, prized for its combination of low fat and high protein content, which speeds up metabolism and preserves muscle. In addition to being a source of selenium and phosphorus, which support kidney function and cellular energy production, cottage cheese contains bioactive peptides that modulate weight control hormones. Adding cottage cheese to fruit bowls with cinnamon or to light sandwiches is a delicious way to protect your heart and bones after 60. Now that we know the beneficial options, it's time to highlight the 4 cheeses you should immediately strike from your list, as each slice drastically raises the risk of stroke, hypertension, and chronic inflammation. First is ultra-thin processed cheese, the plastic-like slices that stick to surfaces. High in artificial trans fats and salt, it elevates inflammatory markers and stiffens arteries. This cheese offers no nutrition and can double C-reactive protein levels, driving vascular hardening. Second is industrial blue cheese, whose rapid aging and use of pungent molds concentrate tyramine and extremely high sodium levels that can spike blood pressure within minutes and overload the circulatory system. It also tends to accumulate vasoactive amines that affect vascular tone and compromise cerebral blood flow. The third villain is hard cheese aged for over a year without proper temperature control. During this process, Maillard reactions produce heterocyclic amines and bioactive compounds that increase arrhythmia risk in older adults, as well as promote lipid oxidation in tissues. Finally, Industrial cream cheese should be avoided at all costs due to chemical additives like emulsifiers and flavor enhancers that disrupt gut flora, increase arterial permeability, and contribute to insulin resistance. Each spoonful represents an inflammatory stimulus that accelerates cardiovascular decline. After 60, incorporating truly nutritious cheeses into your daily routine can make a huge difference in your bone, muscle, and vascular health. The standout options include Parmigiano Reggiano, raw grass-fed cheddar, and authentic Swiss Gruyere. Read on to learn about each of them in detail and discover how to make the most of them. Parmigiano Reggiano, aged 32 months, is a true concentrate of top-quality nutrients. Each 30-gram serving provides about 10 grams of protein, but what's impressive is how those proteins present themselves, fully broken down into nearly pre-digested peptides, making absorption much easier even for those with sensitive digestion. Additionally, the calcium content exceeds 330 milligrams per serving, more than a glass of milk. But unlike milk, this calcium comes in the ideal ratio with phosphorus and magnesium, ensuring nearly 100% bioavailability compared to 30% from typical supplements. Extended aging also generates bioactive compounds such as casomorphins, which help reduce anxiety and improve sleep quality, as well as tyrosine, a precursor to dopamine and noradrenaline, responsible for keeping the brain alert and focused. The aging process removes virtually all lactose, making Parmigiano Reggiano tolerable even for those with milk sensitivity. Beneficial bacteria formed during aging survive stomach acid and colonize the gut, promoting flora balance. To extract maximum flavor and nutrients, cut the cheese into small pieces with a knife rather than grating it, preserving its crystalline structure, and enjoy about 30 grams after meals, drizzled with aged balsamic vinegar to enhance mineral absorption. Raw grass-fed cheddar ranks second for creating a true anti-inflammatory and probiotic arsenal. Made from unpasteurized milk and aged at least 60 days, this cheese retains intact enzymes and beneficial bacteria that aid digestion and nutrient assimilation. Its conjugated linoleic acid content can be up to 500% higher than conventional cheddar, while omega-3 levels are significantly greater, fighting inflammation at the cellular level. The vitamin profile of this cheddar is like a natural pharmacy shelf. Bioavailable retinol, essential vitamin D to counter common deficiencies in older adults, and vitamin K2 in the MK4 form, the most potent for preventing arterial calcification and strengthening bones. It also supplies significant amounts of vitamin E and beta-carotene antioxidants that shield cells from oxidative stress. As an added bonus, it harbors dozens of probiotic strains capable of producing short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, a key nutrient for colon cells and a source of systemic anti-inflammatory effects. At the top of the list sits authentic Swiss Gruyere, made from raw milk of cows grazing alpine pastures. During fermentation, Propionibacterium bacteria release propionic acid, a compound capable of reducing inflammation, lowering cholesterol, and even exerting protective effects against certain cancers. These same bacteria produce the cheese's famous eyes and synthesize vitamin B12 at levels exceeding almost all other foods. Gruyere is also rich in calcium, phosphorus, and exceptionally high-quality proteins, as well as bioactive peptides that modulate the immune system and aid tissue repair. Its exceptional digestibility and complete nutritional profile make it the ideal cheese for bolstering cardiovascular and bone health. Enjoy it in cubes as a post-meal appetizer or gently melted over steamed vegetables. always avoiding high temperatures to preserve its sensitive nutrients. To amplify the benefits of these cheeses, combine them with fresh fruits like apple, pear, or fig, which provide fiber and natural sugars for balanced digestion. Add nuts or seeds to supply monounsaturated fats and minerals such as zinc and magnesium. Stay well hydrated and perform light exercise daily to stimulate circulation and ensure that all these nutrients reach every cell in your body. By adopting these 4 truly functional cheeses and discarding industrialized, ultra-processed options or those loaded with trans fats and excess sodium, you take a decisive step to protect your heart, preserve bone density, and maintain independence and vigor well past 60. Start including these delights in your menu today and feel the results reflected in greater energy and well-being with every bite. Authentic Swiss Gruyere concentrates impressive levels of glutathione precursors higher than any other cheese, providing the body with the components needed to produce its main internal antioxidant. Glutathione is essential for liver detoxification, immune support, and cellular protection against damage, but its natural production declines with age. Gruyère's amino acid profile, especially its high cysteine and glycine content, naturally stimulates glutathione synthesis, restoring antioxidant defenses in older adults. Moreover, this cheese delivers notable amounts of phosphorus, zinc, and selenium, minerals that work together to maintain bone health, support immune function, and regulate thyroid activity. The minimum 12-month aging process characteristic of Gruyere promotes the breakdown of proteins into highly bioavailable D and tripeptides, meaning the body rapidly absorbs the building blocks needed to repair tissues and sustain muscle mass without overburdening the digestive system. On the flip side, there are 4 cheeses every senior should categorically avoid to protect longevity and quality of life. At the top of the list are individually wrapped ultra-processed cheese slices containing less than 50% real cheese, and a cocktail of emulsifiers, artificial preservatives, and sodium phosphates that can accelerate aging, damage the kidneys, and increase cardiovascular risk. Just 2 slices exceed 600 milligrams of sodium, 1/4 of the recommended daily limit, and include more harmful sodium compounds than regular salt. Emulsifiers such as polysorbate 80 and carboxymethylcellulose in these products harm the gut microbiota and increase intestinal permeability, triggering systemic inflammation associated with autoimmune and psychiatric disorders. Next are shelf-stable cheese spreads in jars, whose cheese label is merely nominal. They are composed mainly of modified starches, oils, and additives that destroy any nutritional value and still supply trans fats from partially hydrogenated or intrasterified oils, both linked to heart disease and metabolic disorders. With over 500 milligrams of sodium per 2 teaspoons, these spreads skyrocket blood pressure and can overload the liver and kidneys with toxins that interfere with balanced collagen synthesis and the maintenance of vascular elasticity. In third place is industrial blue cheese, whose accelerated ripening process and use of imported mold cultures result in high concentrations of tyramine and extreme sodium levels that can spike blood pressure within minutes. The vasoactive amines present in this cheese impair vascular tone, compromising cerebral blood flow and increasing the risk of stroke. Finally, hard cheeses aged uncontrollably for long periods may contain heterocyclic amines and Maillard reaction products that raise the incidence of arrhythmias in older adults and promote lipid oxidation in tissues, leading to chronic inflammation that undermines heart and joint health. By eliminating ultra-processed cheeses and prioritizing properly aged artisanal varieties, you reduce the risk of hypertension, arrhythmias, and systemic inflammation, while strengthening bone structure, preserving muscle mass, and protecting vascular health. Start this simple change today and turn every piece of cheese into a powerful ally for longevity and well-being after 60. Cheese spreads in jars, many of them shelf-stable until open, deserve extra scrutiny because the quest for creamy texture and long shelf life results in formulations high in modified starches, partially hydrogenated or intraesterified oils, and chemical additives. These artificial fats, even when labeled 0 grams of trans fat, can be present in amounts that evade labeling requirements, contributing to vascular dysfunction and increased levels of LDL cholesterol. Moreover, the excess sodium, easily exceeding 500 milligrams in just 2 teaspoons, overloads renal tissue and heightens the risk of treatment-resistant hypertension. Research in food pharmacology indicates that some of these additives can linger in the body for days, affecting the gut microbiota and reducing natural production of mood and appetite-regulating neurotransmitters. Industrial shredded cheese in packets, while convenient, brings anti-caking agents such as cellulose, tapioca starch, and even wood starch, up to 4% of the product's weight. Although cellulose isn't toxic, its complete indigestibility can aggravate irritable bowel syndrome and cause abdominal discomfort. Many of these products also contain nystatin or its derivatives to prevent mold growth. Continuous use of this antifungal can imbalance gut flora and foster microbial resistance. Industrial blue cheese, renowned for its bold flavor, contains very high levels of tyramine, a molecule that can trigger hypertensive crises and severe migraines in older adults. If you take monoamine oxidase inhibitors for depression or Parkinson's, consuming this cheese can precipitate a hypertensive emergency. Its high sodium content and vasoactive amines worsen arterial stiffness and increase stroke risk. Nutritional neurology research points to elevated tyramine as a common trigger for refractory migraines. To replace these harmful options, choose artisanal cheeses naturally aged such as fresh ricotta, goat cheese, Parmigiano Reggiano, or Swiss Gruyere. Varieties that provide high-quality proteins, probiotics, and essential nutrients without the toxic impact of ultra-processed foods. A nutritional medicine study shows that cheeses traditionally made in small dairies contain up to 50% more beneficial bacterial strains for gut health than industrial versions. Moreover, buying cheese in blocks and grating it yourself preserves the nutritional integrity of its lipids and vitamins. To further reduce sodium intake, rinse packaged shredded cheese under running water before using it in salads and hot dishes. Incorporating fresh herbs like rosemary and thyme into cheese recipes can boost the antioxidant power of meals and reduce the need for extra salt. Try making homemade spreads by blending fresh cheese with extra virgin olive oil, garlic, and natural peppers, creating flavorful, nutritious options without artificial preservatives. If you miss bold flavors, invest in homemade ferments such as kimchi or sauerkraut, rich in probiotics that complement the action of good cheeses on the microbiota and enhance nutrient absorption. By eliminating processed cheeses, industrial spreads, pre-shredded cuts, and commercial blue cheese, you not only drastically reduce the risks of inflammation, hypertension, and gut dysbiosis, but also make room in your diet for dairy varieties that promote cardiovascular, bone, and brain health. This simple habit swap turns every piece of cheese into a key ally for longevity and quality of life after 60. Blue cheese produces compounds called mycotoxins, generated by the molds responsible for its characteristic veining. Although occasional exposure is considered safe, habitual consumption can lead to accumulation of these substances in the body, potentially triggering joint pain, mental fog, digestive discomfort, and chronic fatigue in sensitive individuals without them realizing the link to blue cheese. Moreover, this variety contains histamine levels up to 10 times higher than other aged cheeses, which in intolerant people can provoke headaches, hives, anxiety, and insomnia. Another concerning factor is its high sodium content. A single 28-gram serving can exceed 400 milligrams, and its intense flavor often leads people to eat larger portions than they would of milder cheeses. The saturated fat in blue cheese is rich in palmitic acid, known for its strong pro-inflammatory action and for raising cardiovascular risk. With its high caloric density, it's easy to overconsume calories unknowingly, especially because the potent flavor masks spoilage cues, and spoiled cheese can cause severe foodborne illness. Additionally, rotating your food selection can minimize continuous exposure to undesirable compounds. Alternate different quality cheeses throughout the week, limiting blue cheese to no more than one serving every 15 days, and pair it with lighter fermented options like kefir or natural yogurt to support gut microbiota balance and aid in toxin metabolism. Regular light resistance exercise and stretching enhance blood circulation and speed toxin elimination via the liver and kidneys. For extra safety, you can briefly soak blue cheese in filtered water for a few minutes before eating to reduce surface sodium and remove some preservatives. This simple technique can cut salt content by up to 20% without significantly affecting taste. Another option is to serve small portions of blue cheese alongside citrus fruits, whose organic acids may help degrade mycotoxins and mitigate the impact of vasoactive amines. Finally, when planning meals, fill your plate with colorful vegetables, leafy greens, and whole grains that provide fiber, antioxidants, and essential minerals like magnesium and potassium, key cofactors in detoxification and collagen maintenance. Stay hydrated throughout the day with pure water, coconut water, or herbal teas such as dandelion or milk thistle, renowned for their liver protective properties. By understanding the risks of frequent blue cheese consumption, mycotoxins, histamines, high sodium, inflammatory fats, and high caloric density, and by adopting mindful selection, storage, and substitution practices, you can still enjoy the pleasure of a strong-flavored cheese without compromising your health. This balanced approach makes all the difference in maintaining independence, vitality, and quality of life well beyond 60.